Psychos do not explode when sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how many cordyceps they have in their fucking brains.
They're cordyceps?
Cordyceps mushrooms.
There's new leaks for the Last of Us HBO stuff, which we talked about in a previous video. And it's more, it's showing us a lot more of the production value and quality that they have. Did you see the cordyceps up the side of the building?
I looked away from it so fast. So let's see. This whole thing looks kind of digital, almost like it is the game. Like the quality of that image.
Oh, yeah. See it growing up the doors?
Oh, wow. That really does look like that pile in the corner really looks like in game. Like when you see the pile. And then in game 2, where there would be like people melded into that would pop out.
I noticed he has bloody knuckles.
Yeah, it could be, or it could be a shadow.
They are shooting in Calgary, Canada. I had no idea where that was because we're filthy Americans. And so I looked into it, and it's not in the middle of nowhere, but it's like not West Coast, East Coast. Oh, that is beautiful. And Druckmann is there too. It's been said that he's directing at least one episode. He's there. There's like a photo that he released of him, like he's playing the Switch and looking out his hotel room window, and it's like, oh, he's in Calgary. And it's like, this man's living the life. I think he came on when the Last of Us game, the first one, was already partially started. And they needed, I think they needed a creative director at that time. And now he's like on location shooting, like directing an episode for HBO of the show. And it's like, this guy's gone places. I'm excited for him.
From just like the new hire to the fucking man.
And not like he was a new there. Like he'd worked in Uncharted and he'd done some other pretty good stuff, but like just take the helm and go with it. And he did really good at that.
Is he running Naughty Dog at this point?
He's, I think, Vice.
Wow.
Yeah. So
good job, Druckmann. I'm seeing this image here.
Ellie on the throne.
That's terrible.
Yeah, that would be scary. No, especially game 2, Ellie on the throne. Woo! Huge budget, obviously.
I'm hearing $10 million an episode.
If that's true, that's more than Game of Thrones, right?
At least that's what people in the comments of our last video were saying. I didn't look it up.
Thank you for the comment. Yeah, so a lot of money per episode, and we're only seeing exterior shoots. It's entirely possible that they have a soundstage that they're shooting everything else on.
Yeah.
So, and that's what they do. That's the process. If you've seen any behind the scenes of Batman v Superman or Justice League, huge soundstage, WB. They shoot that in England though, in green screens, like way 100 feet away on the wall, 100 feet away on that wall. Damn. So they have room and length to get people on wires and doing stuff. But they might have that budget for HBO. Calgary could have a giant place to shoot, even if it's one warehouse or whatever that they can use. Yeah. They could have already been shooting all of their stuff, or let's say this, Calgary is their exteriors, and then they go to Los Angeles and shoot all the interiors or whatever.
Yeah, they don't have to shoot.
Yeah, as far as we know, the actor Bella Ramsey was like sharing stuff on, I think, Instagram or Twitter, and it was like she went from England to Calgary, did quarantine in a hotel, like getting ready for the character, and then boom, started shooting. So if they're going to do that, they haven't already gone to LA or wherever.
War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise.
Yes.
There's a obvious shot when he leaves, what's his name from Shawshank?
Tim Allen? No.
It's not Tim Allen.
Tim Robbins. Allen.
When he leaves his house, he comes out and everything's being like
reverse
terraformed. And it's kind of cordycepty, I guess. But it's a big soundstage and it's so obvious and kind of horrible looking.
You know what was really cool? In Dune, their day for night stuff looked good. It didn't look like day for night.
Yeah.
Every time it was nighttime, I don't think it was really nighttime.
I think we did that once and it didn't look good.
It almost always looks bad.
Yeah.
Like, it can rarely happen well. This is a big budget, so I'm not concerned.
I'm not concerned whatsoever.
It's looking good.
I think they could do a small budget and pull off something because it's the story that I'm here for.
I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on where does season 1 go? How does season 1 end? Because I have a theory, but I want to see you first and then talk about mine.
Ooh. From what we had heard, I believe we heard, was season 1 is game 1, but I feel like you're cramming a lot into one season, going the Game of Thrones method and fucking it up if you do that.
Okay.
But like I said last time, you're not going to fuck it up for me. You give me something, I'm going to be happy because I've already seen the greatest story they can tell.
Yeah.
Maybe they can blow my mind again, though. They change the story.
Who knows?
Also, I know people in our comments were mentioning that, oh, I heard it's not all season 1 is all game 1. It's going to be split. And I'm fine either way.
We don't know anything. That could be true. What we heard originally could be true.
None of it could be true.
None of it could be true. But as much as I'd like to base on what we know for sure, I'm also very interested in baseless speculation just to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And just to think about it.
I could see season 1 getting to the point of, well, they meet Tommy relatively early in that game, don't they? Or is that like midway?
No, that's in fall. So
Okay.
it's summer, fall. But you meet him at the beginning, and then there's Boston and Escape from Boston, and then you meet Henry and Sam. There's all that. There's a big chunk before you run back into Tommy.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the first time you run into Tommy.
I'm talking about the open. You're talking about the prologue?
No, not the prologue.
Yeah, no, you run into him at the dam, which is almost halfway, I think, through the game.
They could end there for the first season.
Whoa. Okay.
You really tell some story. Get some time to build like the environment of the world. When you're not playing a game, because when you're in the game, just to go 20 feet, or like 2 missions in, you're immersed in this world.
Okay.
But with watching it, it's just gonna fly right by. Just like if you go rewatch Game of Thrones, everything just flies through. You're like, holy shit, we're in the fucking Vale already in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, especially towards the end.
When
it wasn't being written.
Yeah, but even in the beginning, rewatching it recently, it flies through, and I hope they don't do that. Spend a little time building it. Give us, that intro first episode where everything goes down. You could build a little bit there.
Okay.
And then when they're in not Boston, where do they start out?
Boston's, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
When they're in Boston, that could just take its time. Let us spend a little time there.
You're saying maybe an episode or 2 in Boston?
Yeah, you can spend an episode in Boston.
Okay, all right.
If you're going by my calculations, then it's taking like 3 seasons to get through the first game.
Okay.
But I could see them ending. I think they're going to end either end of the first game, or they're going to end. Okay, I got like 3 points.
Okay.
Where it could end.
Yeah.
End of the season, end of the game, when Joel falls on the pole at the school.
Oh, okay. So ending at the hospital / they go to Jackson, ending at the rebar.
Yeah.
And then
the giraffes and everything.
Oh, so like right before you go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's just like a cliffhanger there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That could work for tension suspension. Actually, there's a moment there where they're looking out at the giraffes, and it's like, this is our last chance to turn around moment. And that might be the end of an episode that leads into the finale.
Yeah, it could be.
Which would be cool. Right now, the speculation is that Neil Druckmann is directing episode 3. And in my mind, episode 3 could be anything if they're being slow. I'll run you through my timeline, then we'll go over the Druckmann thing because it might help back me up, and then I'll feel like I'm
vindicated.
Yeah. Season 1, I think, could be game 1. The show does not have to happen every year. They can take time and just do another season when they want to, whatever, or have stuff that happens that never happened in the game. Brilliantly written scripts about stuff that wasn't in the game. So season 1, book 1. It ends after the hospital incident, and then they are looking back down at Jackson. And my evidence for this would be Druckmann's directing episode 3. And apparently, this is all online guessing and set or leaked photos or whatever.
We don't watch trailers, yet we look into every detail.
Well, we don't watch trailers for stuff we don't want to be spoiled on. We know everything except for what they change, But there's what looks like reason to believe that they're shooting in a new location. This other town. I'll pop up the name in the edit. And the way that the little town or city or whatever the place is kind of looks like Jackson from the second game. If that's in episode 3, that means that they've already met up with Tommy by episode 3 because he shows them Jackson in the middle of the game. So then that's how many more episodes? Is there 8 or 10? I think it was 8.
I'm guessing 8. I don't know.
Okay, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 episodes to continue, like from Wyoming to Utah. What happens there?
Yeah.
If that's true, that could not all be true. Anyways, I want to talk about the finale. What happens in the end of the season to bleed into the second game? So we have to get introduced. Spoilers for the second game. We have to be introduced to Abby in the second game and all of her backstory and like somehow. And give you the reveals at a specific time so it doesn't ruin it or spoil
Mhm.
it, or you
Yeah.
know information earlier and it like twists the knife in a different way than having
So
like
you're saying to bring her in starting season 1?
yes, and this is how I would do it. Let's say 8 episodes. So episode 7 ends kind of like we were talking about a minute ago. It ends with them looking at the drafts and then they go and then like it's just zooming in on the hospital from that location
Mm.
and then it ends. Next episode starts and you're hearing like a girl and somebody else laughing and it's not the same as it was in the game, but it cuts to the top of the hospital and you see Abby and Jerry, her father, and they're like having a good time or whatever, like playing around or doing something. It's the same moment that Joel and Ellie were just having, kind of like a heart to heart moment, and they even look out at the city themselves. Maybe that's when they see a giraffe. They don't have to save a giraffe. They can just see a giraffe or something.
Yeah.
Sorry, not a giraffe, a zebra, like in the game. And so you're getting to know them, who they are to each other for a few minutes. I don't know if they reveal that he's the doctor then, or you
No.
don't get that reveal because he says, I gotta get back down to work or whatever. And then he goes down there and maybe even see Owen for a second there in that scene. Total setup for their characters right then. And then it just, boom, you get the intro. And then you're back with Joel and Ellie, where she almost drowns or whatever. And then he gets knocked out by the fireflies, wakes up in the hospital. And then it's basically the same throughout the rest of the episode. You get the entire sequence happening of him rescuing Ellie. He shoots Marlene even in the basement. And I don't think she dies in the show. I think she needs to survive, but she's almost like very badly injured. So Joel assumes she's dead or just leaves her for dead. And so you can have her in the second season to help transition Abby into the story better.
Yeah.
So she's there to give backstory, to give exposition, to give the audience reason to care and be interested. And that works even if you haven't been revealed who Abby is and her relation to the doctor. You don't even need to see that Jerry's the guy who dies there. All you get is the introduction of them on the roof.
Yeah.
Anyways, you cut back to Joel and Ellie leaving. The whole ending with them walking up on Jackson and then he tells the lie that sets up the second game. It could work where he tells the lie. And then right after that, it cuts to the hallway in the hospital and the red lights are blinking and whatever. And then Abby comes walking into frame and goes down to the end of the hallway. Like it's the last thing you see in the season. Walks over and sees him dead. And they start grabbing her and it just zooms in on her face. And then it just credits. So it's like, oh no. It would just feel like an out of place, slightly out of place. Oh no, look what Joel did. Oh, that was awful. But maybe it was the right decision, but maybe not.
The only way it works then is if you casted somebody, a different actor, to play Abby both times, to play buff Abby and young Abby. You kind of have to, too.
Really?
Because the second you see her,
you know,
show up to Jackson, you know.
Yeah, but that's fine if you play your reveals different. And you totally can. You just put the tension or the drama in a different way.
Yeah, you can put the drama in. Joel, what are you doing? That's, oh my God, get the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
why are you being so nice?
It was already there a little bit. When they show up,
we are kind of assholes who are like, as soon as the apocalypse starts, like, I don't give a fuck. I'm an asshole. You know, I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
And Joel's being the nice guy, so he's being way too trusting for anything I would try to do during the apocalypse.
Well, it's a different Joel. Joel used to be like that.
Yeah.
But he, ever since arriving at Jackson, and he's never been a smart guy, like driving straight into the ambush in the first game. Everything he does in the first game, he's not very aware of how much danger he's putting himself and Ellie in.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Yeah. People who say that he wouldn't have made his decisions in the second game, that they replay the first game.
He's an idiot.
He's not that smart. And when he's emotionally involved, and in the second game in Jackson, he's been there for however many years. He's relaxed. He just finally got closure with him and Ellie. Like they've just bonded. And so he's like, I could die. And even when he dies, like I've said this to you before, when he dies, it's not a bad, sad moment. It's good setup for Abby and Ellie, but it's a good closure for him. He gets to die with his daughter, basically this time. He doesn't die alone. He dies. He gets to look at the one girl that he like loves as he's the closest with, and he's like, "Oh, I did it." You know, it looks like they're not going to kill her. Like,
yeah,
and you know,
he's like, "I'll have a Coke then."
Yeah.
Cisco, I'm not funny today. I know. I'm having a hard day. This joke sucks.
That could be the way that it leaves off. Is you get a taste of Abby and the potential of oh, this is a whole other person's life that we can get more of. Joel did what he did to save his daughter, and at what cost, his fake daughter, at what cost, lead into the next season. I don't know.
I'm really digging that, actually. You're right. You got to, because we've had issues thinking about how are we going to get to to Abby's story and Care in time. And that's how you do it. Like you're saying, piece in that little bit at the end. And it gives those weird little twists that people like to see in television.
Yes.
Like a lot of things you would see in Lost and Breaking Bad. Like, why the fuck are you even showing us this?
Yeah. Like the stuff in the pool, like the bear in the pool.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You have to be.
You'll see Abby, and there'll be a pet giraffe with blood all over the side of its head. And she'll be playing mini golf up on the roof with her dad.
That's actually what I was telling Griddles. That's what I forgot until now. Yeah, they were playing golf or something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what
I picture actually them looking down, because she's pretty young then. She's probably 14?
She's the same as Ellie, maybe 1 year older. So
maybe 13, 14-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see them looking down at the animals and it's being so happy, because the scenes in the game were really happy. I'm just with my dad doing fun shit. And
they might have
quarters.
aged them up, because I know apparently that's been out is that the apocalypse starts in 2003 instead. So real time has occurred. So by 2023 is when the events are happening.
Yeah,
So
that was
they've
also
changed
in
it.
our comment section too. Somebody mentioned that.
Yeah, and I've seen that other places too. So who knows? It could be real. And if that's the case, then
They might be. I don't think
they might change the age. Like Ellie might not be 14; she might be 16 in this, because the actor's already 19.
Bella Ramsey's that old.
Yeah, she's 18 or 19.
God, she looked like a baby in Game of Thrones. But
Yeah, but
you're right, that was some years ago now.
That came out in 2019. It was filmed a year and a half before that.
Okay.
So she's way older by now, and so she might be playing 16-year-old Ellie, and then a couple years, and
You
whatever.
just don't baby face her so much and let her look a little older.
Yeah.
Okay, that could work.
Maybe she'll do a certain diet and do more lifts or something. But Ellie's intentionally thin and having eating issues in the second game.
Yeah,
so.
and you're not gonna have Abby's gonna be the harder one to do unless they do the Captain America and put her face on a skinnier chick, whoever they pick to be buff ass Abby.
My argument for anything like that, it's always look at Christian Bale's work. Look at Chris Pratt goes from fat guy to him in Guardians when he takes his shirt off. Abby doesn't need to be as
he was
crazy.
competing with Hemsworth though. He's I gotta do a shirtless scene.
Yeah,
but not every actor is Christian Bale.
Yeah, that's true. But HBO money,
I'm doing it.
and the actor doesn't need to get as ripped as Abby. That was a very good metaphor in the game, but the metaphor can still work. It just doesn't have to be that big, and she doesn't really need the muscles. I really love that about Game Abby. It's cool, and it's a good way of showing how determined she is to do what she thinks she needs to do.
So what I want to say about their happy scene up on the roof, though, you were saying what you're thinking could be towards the end of this final episode of the first season. I can see them just happy looking down at the animals and oh, Mr. Zebra, they're just talking like you're saying. I could really see that happiness there and the big turn by the end of the episode. And he'd be Mr. Zebra, what's your name? Oh, you're look up here. My name's Jerry. Just having.
Continue the joke.
I see great things from it, man. Just seeing more and more the production value, the way the show looks so far that we've seen looks fucking phenomenal. I'm gonna love the first season, but fuck around. I cannot wait for the second season when we really get into the meat of the story. I almost feel like the first game is a prologue leading you to this phenomenal fucking story where the real story happens. Yeah. It's even though they came out in different order here, we've got Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi, and the prequels were all just set up for that, even though it did come later. I feel like this is the prequels for what is actually The Last of Us. It might be.
Yes and no.
Because to me, the second game is superior. Fight me in the comments. But I'm going to love it no matter fucking what. Okay, not no matter what. They could fucking Thrones this shit, and I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm Elvis my fucking TV.
We've said that before, though. Druckmann feels like has a certain amount of integrity for the story. That's why he did such bold things that he did in the second game. He really cares for. He's not trying to make the audience happy. He's not.
He's like Martin. I'm going to tell a good fucking story.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings.
If you don't like it, you don't like it. But he's telling a hardcore, this is what it is. And I think if he takes his mindset of, I want to make sure this is good and applies it to the show, he's good. He'll be set.
I feel like when he made game 2, he was like you're saying, he's like, oh, here's the fucking good story I'm gonna tell. If you don't like it, too bad. You already gave me $60.
Yeah. I don't remember.
You guys still want Factions to come out though, right?
Yeah. That looks like they gave an update on that. That looks like it'll be interesting. So
I'm betting like November next year. Actually, wouldn't this like March, fall, or springtime be like 2 years or 3 years from the second game coming out?
Just barely over a year. That came out in 2020. The second.
Oh my
game.
god, it did. So when we hit springtime, it'll be 2 years.
Yeah.
They could release Factions hopefully about then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. It would be interesting to release the show and that at the same time. So
It's another fucking money machine.
I'm looking forward to more information, more leaks. At the same time, I don't want it because I want to be surprised. But you give it to me, I'm going to look at it. Just like with The Sopranos and Many Saints, All Saints Day, shouldn't have looked, but I did. I can't help it. And I'm going to continue to look at this.
I think that the only time we're gonna see something that's a spoiler would be if we're seeing interior stuff.
Yeah,
you know,
which we're not. It's gonna be hard for us to see. It could get out.
So everything exterior is literally just gonna be them on the streets walking, holding a rifle.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a less spoilery. Now, when trailers eventually come out, maybe we'll stop and we'll not watch those or something.
Sure.
I don't know.
But I want people to see what other people think.
Yeah.
You know, what do people think that where the season's gonna go, where we're gonna end, what we're gonna begin with.
Yeah, like because this is just our.
We're speculating. We don't know shit.
Yeah, we only see images and like a little bit of information on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. So this is just what we're thinking based on game 1, game 2. Druckmann is a writer director, so that's just what we think. I don't know what anyone else thinks.
Jacob, what you think, homie?
Yeah,
Looking at you, bro.
Jacob's gonna say Last of Us 2 is trash.
Fuck you.